Morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, still morning for another hour here in Ames, Iowa. Good morning and welcome to our congregational meeting this morning. I will turn it over here to President Jamie Gurganis.
All right, thank you. See, I knew Christopher would get your attention more than me. So, okay, all right. So I'm going to call the meeting to order and welcome members and friends to this special meeting of the congregation. I want to thank you all for being here. And I want to remind everybody of our mission statement: growing spiritually, creating community, striving for justice, and learning to love. So AJ, we'd like you to come up and light the chalice.
Dear Senator Baldwin, oh, that's the wrong sheet. I would like to offer special thanks today to our congregational administrator, Bradley Duckstein, for setting up this beautiful room, coming in on his day off. Bradley always goes above and beyond, and the people say, amen. Okay. Christopher, we light this chalice as a symbol of our thankfulness. The chalice reminds us of the sun, the giver of life. The flame rises up like the power of growth and renewal in springtime. We give thanks for the sun, which lights and warms the earth, for the growth and renewal of nature arising from the earth, and this beloved community that lives in the earth.
Thank you. Okay, so before we get, I want to review the meeting rules with everybody. So members are required to sign in to so that we know that we have a quorum, which we do. And just a reminder that members who have signed the membership book are the only ones that are eligible to vote today. So today we are voting for positions on the slate for our ministerial search committee, and we're voting on the slate as a whole, not on individuals. And voting will be on voice and with voice in the fellowship hall and on Zoom polling. And if necessary, we'll have vote with a show of hands if we have to count. And we'll have, if there's comments, we'll have a timekeeper because we're allowing 2 minutes per comment and 1 comment per agenda item. And for those on Zoom, Christopher, please put your comments in chat, and Christopher is going to read them for us. So do we have a motion to approve our agenda and the meeting rules? Yeah. Do you have a second? Okay. All right, so we have a second. So do we have no discussion? We'll just, do we have a vote for approving the minutes and, or not the minutes, the agenda? Okay, anybody oppose? Okay, so Zoom people? They're working it out. Okay.
Could I ask a question? Is there any way we could see the Zoom people? No. Thank
you. Okay. Okay, so, all right, so that motion has passed. Okay, so first we are going to vote on the bylaw changes. And as you know, interim periods are a time of transition and times to get things cleaned up and ready for our next chapter and our new staff. So reviewing bylaws is a common thing for us to do, and we've done it for both our previous 2 interim periods. So we hope everyone, we hope everyone remembers our sense of covenant and our beloved community as we go through this process. I want to thank everyone who has attended the bylaw Q&A sessions. We had 2 of those prior to this meeting. The board has heard all of your concerns and have listened to you, and we have come up with a proposal. So with that said, I'd like to call a motion to approve the proposed changes to the bylaws. Okay. Do we have a second?
I said.
Okay, okay. Okay, thanks, Kay. All
There
right,
is a move by Dorothy Lewis online as well.
okay, so we have plenty of moves, okay. So now we will open this to discussion, and I'd like to call Mike Frankum, who is going to speak on behalf of the board.
So my name is Mike Frankum, and I'm a member of your board. And I would like to propose an amendment to this motion based on feedback from valued members of our community during the feedback sessions that we held for the changes to the bylaws. A few questions were raised in the membership area, and we would like to withdraw Article 3 changes from today's vote. These changes are not pressing, and we honor the feedback we've received. And so therefore, I would like to raise a motion to amend the slate of bylaw changes and to table the changes within Article 3. And that the remaining proposed changes excuse me, would be the slate of changes to be voted upon. So essentially, the motion is to table for today everything in Article 3, which is the membership article, and we would vote on all of the other changes.
Oh, okay. Oh, sorry. That's okay. Okay, so we'll entertain discussion then on this before we move on. And this is just on what Mike presented.
So I hear some questions from my table, and I imagine there are questions congregational wide about why the board is has Mike as a proxy putting forth that motion to remove the changes from Article 3 right now. And I can kind of speak to that to some extent, and maybe other board members would like to as well. When the board put forth the changes to Article 3, it was in the spirit of just making our bylaws more streamlined as a matter of kind of legal code for a nonprofit organization. We didn't, as a board, realize the impact that would have in alienating some of our community members, our members and our folks who are friends of the congregation. We heard that feedback during the feedback sessions, which is a really beautiful way, our fifth principle in action, people coming forward and saying, you as representatives of our congregation and our friends have not fully understood the implications of what we are doing. And so I think we have moved to table those changes to 3. And those changes were to remove mention of friends within the bylaws, simply because the friends don't have a legal obligation to the organization, but we heard from the friends that that made them feel marginalized as members of our community, and also to change the youth membership. And we also heard that that may not be in the spirit of our UU Fellowship of Aims. Is that?
I'm just handing the mic around, yeah.
Thanks, Carrie. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So with no further, is there anybody online? Nope. Oh, okay, so let's vote on the change that Mike presented. All in favor? Okay, and any oppositions? And any abstentions? Okay, all right, so that has passed, so thank you. So now we need to vote on the amended motion. And we have other bylaw changes. So do you have those? I can go over them. So we did changes to, so we made some grammatical changes and gender affirming pronoun changes throughout. And let's see, we removed on the board of directors the requirement that we needed somebody under the age of 21 to be serving on the board. And we split the officers so that we have a secretary on the board as well as a treasurer instead of combining the two. And we changed the percentage for what when we call our minister to 85%, because most ministers will want 85 or higher, otherwise they're not going to want to serve in a congregation. So, yeah. And then we moved the ELT to the committees, because that's where it needed to go. And the executive leadership team was a committee, so we moved it to the committee section of the bylaws. And at the request of nominating, we changed the term limit to all of the people who are serving on it to be 2 years. And we had some that were 3 and some that were 2. So do I have a motion to? We're ready for discussion. Okay, that was quick. Okay, so I'll open it to any discussion we have.
Okay, I'm David Brenner, and I'm speaking in regard to Article 5 on the top of page 4. One of the members will be a person under the age of 21. Both my daughters served on the board. There was years of us being able to get wonderful teenagers who I think have good experiences on the board, and I don't see why we couldn't continue what we've done. Has there been a history of asking the youth group if they could select one of themselves to be on the board? Have they turned us down? So that's all I have.
Yeah. Sure.
So my name is Tegan Willing, and I currently serve as Vice President of the board. The big reason why we need to remove the youth member as a requirement from the board is we've been out of compliance with the bylaws because we haven't had a youth, because youth participation ebbs and flows so much. We want to be in compliance with our bylaws. There's nothing that excludes a youth member from participating, and we would love it if we do have youth in the future who would like to participate. We'd absolutely welcome that. We just can't require it when youth participation ebbs and flows so much. Does that address?
No, it doesn't. We still need to try. So,
Well,
I'm okay with being voted down, but I think we should go back to what worked. Especially when the youth group is up.
that is true. Youth group is up, and we'd love to see more participation in all aspects of congregational life from our youth. So.
Right. And the youth are all, anybody is always welcome to attend a board meeting. If we can have a liaison from the youth group who would come only when they would like to bring up something to the board, but just requiring them to be there every board meeting, we just want to make sure that we would have somebody. Right now, we just don't have youth that would be interested. And like we said, for 3 years, we've been out of compliance with that.
I don't have a problem with leaving it in the bylaws the way that's presented today. But I wonder if there's a place we can make it explicit to youth that we would really like someone from their group to be a rep on the board. Not a requirement, but just make it explicit to the group that we would like that.
So I'll speak. This is David Slade. So I think that the potential motion is to leave that section as written. And Tegan's point is then we're out of compliance if it's a requirement that we're not meeting. Is there, what have we done when we haven't had the youth member? Have they been replaced with another adult member, or has that just been an empty seat?
Empty seat.
Has that been acceptable? Or would we need that extra voice? I'm asking because it could be, we could, instead of striking it entirely, we could say preferentially, or if possible, or if a suitable volunteer can be found, comma. The question would only be tricky if we wanted to replace that seat with an adult board member, I think, which we haven't been doing. I'll run back over to you.
Having been a part of past boards when we did have a problem finding people from the youth group to participate, and also having recent and current kids in the youth group program who were not interested, no matter how much I tried to get them interested in participating in the board. You know, I do recognize it would be nice to show our support of the youth in that way, but I think it is, as far as a legal document that our bylaws are, I have a problem with it being in there and then just being on and off. But I think the idea of a liaison or something like that, or would be a better thing to aim for on a general term. And like Tegan was mentioning, I think, you know, if we do, when or if we do get the type of student that is really into that, and I know there have been some that just were really good and were really participating in boards, then we should encourage that and have them be part of the nominating process and be a board member that way.
So this is David Slade again, since I'm got the mic. It feels to me like, since we already have one portion of the amendment that's been tabled and will be revisited, removing the requirement does not prevent a youth member. It's just taking away the requirement. So if there could be an agreement to revisit how to handle a preference or a liaison or something like that, because we're already going to have another set of amendments coming through with Article 3, right? So that would be a compromise if they would agree to revisit how to get some kind of preference indicated in the bylaws, and then we could approve the removal of it as a requirement, which doesn't prevent it from happening.
Yeah, I think that's a wonderful idea. Then it seems at least it should be possible. I think they're not going to be able to, they're the young people, they won't have 2-year terms, which means pretty much 3 years of commitment for someone who's probably joining us as a senior in high school. So it would be the youth group selecting someone maybe for 6 months.
But that would mean you'd withdraw your objection with the agreement that you'd work with these folks. No, oh, there was no motion. There was no motion. Okay.
Didn't actually make a motion. You just discussed that you objected to it. You didn't actually make a motion.
I like your motion, and I'm not very good at parliamentary procedure. I think you've got a great motion. Yeah, revisit this in some way that makes sense for everybody.
We have a comment online from Zoom from Dorothy Lewis. Could we simply change the word will to the word may in section 3?
We're not making changes to section 3 right now. Yeah, can you say that? You say that, yeah.
Yeah.
Is that under the board? It's not in.
Okay, I'm just relating the comment from Zoom here.
Section 3 of Article
5, okay.
So this has been William, and so to clarify what I'm hearing is that the language would still be removed with the understanding that it would be revisited. That's what I'm hearing, and I'm all for that.
Which means there's no amendments to the amendments.
Correct. There is no motion yet that it is to move forward, and a request from the floor for the board to revisit that in the future.
Is Dorothy's message online a motion? Or is it just a question? I'm asking.
Yeah.
If Dorothy's discussing Article 3, that's been, okay.
Dorothy has clarified Article 5, Section 3, but I don't yet know whether this is a discussion moment or an actual motion.
Hi, everyone. This is Bradley. I'm just going to make the same comment I made last time, which is we're getting a lot of really good feedback, and that's so helpful in the process. And so keep your eyes open. We're going to be having workshops, something that's more interactive. As we look at the additional changes for Article 3, it's also a really good opportunity to look at everything. Bylaws are fluid, and we're going to have the same kind of quorum thing with our December meeting. So please participate in the process.
Dorothy Lewis has clarified that that was a discussion comment.
So, okay, are there any other discussion items or? Okay, none, so let's call the, well, vote on the.
Yeah, I'll move that we,
Yeah.
David Slade, no, it's already been
Yeah,
moved?
it's already,
Okay, thank you.
so we are, yeah, we just are moving from discussion to a vote. So I guess all in favor for accepting the changes to the bylaws as proposed minus the Article 3. Is that right? Okay, so anyone opposed? Okay, so One, okay, and anybody abstain? Okay. Okay, so it passed. All right, thank you, everybody. Okay, so now we are going to move on to our candidates presented to serve on the Ministerial Search Committee. And I want to thank all of you who took the time to talk to our board members. We had a very impressive list of people that you would like to have seen serve on the search committee. So the board created a list so that we had a good diversity on the search, and those who accepted the invitation, because there was, we invited quite a few, are Amber Anderson, Christopher Chase, Carol Crosby, Dan Haug, Melissa Neeson, Susan Norris, and Robin Sin. So we have 7, so yay. Okay. So I need a motion to approve the slate that we presented to you.
I removed Sarah Carlson, that we accept this slate nominees.
Okay. Do we have a second? Okay, it's okay. Yeah, okay. Do we have a second? Do we have any discussion on it? Okay.
Could I request that you read the names again, and if the people who are here, would they stand up so everybody knows who they are?
Oh, okay. All right, so we have Amber Anderson and Christopher, who's sitting next to me here, and Carol Crosby, Dan Haug, I think he's in the back there, Melissa Neeson, she's here, Susan Norris, and Robin Sin. Robin is not here, no, so. Yeah, so, okay. All right, so thank you all. So are we ready to call for a vote? Oh, no.
There are 2 comments, similar, one from Ralph Gandy. We cannot see those who stood up because the list is on the screen. And from Mark Woodrick-Lechner, it would be nice to see the audience. Too hard to move, came quick enough to see people. Oh, I'm sorry, that was from the UU Fellowship of Ames. Okay, yes.
We'll be sending out an introductory message here in probably the next week or so.
All right.
Say that to
We will be I've been informed by Bradley, we will be sending out an introductory message over the next week, somewhere in there, that will have our pictures, right? That we're going to try to have pictures. Take a screenshot of me right now. Or something.
Okay. Okay, so are we ready to call for the vote? Okay, all right, so all in favor? Okay. Any oppositions? And abstentions? And our Zoom people? Okay, okay, all right. Okay, well, thank you. Okay, so it passes, and so I just want to thank all these 7 people, and they will begin their year of work starting in June, and about a year from now, we should hear from them whether we have a candidate for candidating week, because this is the day. So I just want everyone to please support the search committee in all of the work that they will be doing. They will be asking the congregation for a lot of input, and I just want everybody to please help them out, because that's how they'll, yeah. All right. So AJ, you have closing words for us?
From Richard Gilbert, as we leave this community of the Spirit, may we remember the difficult lesson that each day offers more things than we can do. May we do what needs to be done, postpone what does not, and be at peace with what we can be and do. Therefore, may we learn to separate that which matters most from that which matters least of all.
Okay. Okay, yep, thank you, everybody. And yeah.